You're depressed right now and want to become more happy. But the problem is that the idea of happiness is already quite confusing. Like, people will tell you happiness comes from owning a Ferrari or living in one of these mansions you see on this channel. Or some people will tell you that it comes from being in relationships. But they're the ones who keep coming back to you, crashing out and then complaining for the 50th time, telling how their toxic their relationship is. And if you say you're depressed, some people will just tell you to be happy and stop being depressed. But another problem is when you search online on how to become happy, all you get are answers that your grandparents will tell you. Sleep more, exercise, just get help. Like, okay, some days I'd be exercising and sleeping properly, but at the end of the day, I'd still be feeling depressed and listening to Joji on repeat. So, how do we actually become happy? Well, the main problem that most of us have is that we see happiness as an end goal. Oh, if only I had more money, I'd be happy. Oh, if only I had a girlfriend or a boyfriend, I'd be happy. Oh, if only I had a car, I'd be more happy. Oh, if only I was LeBron James, I'd be happy. The problem is that we're too focused on chasing the feeling of happiness. But the harsh reality you have to accept is that life is supposed to suck sometimes, and you're supposed to suffer in life. Think about it. Without any of the negative moments in your life, the positive moments will mean nothing. For example, if you failed every exam you took and suddenly passed on one exam, you'll be jumping around for joy. But if you never fail one and don't even know what failing feels like, passing exams wouldn't mean anything to you because you're so used to passing every exam. It will just feel like another day to you. The negative emotions we feel are actually a good thing. What you feel right now are actually important signals to do something about your life. If you feel lonely, well, it's a signal to stop gooning on Pornhub and try to find a girlfriend. If you feel out of shape, well, it's a signal to get in shape. If you feel broke, well, it's time to fill out this really scary application. If you feel like a failure in life, well, it's a signal to actually get your life together. The negative emotions we feel are actually a survival mechanism for our brain. If a creature was to be happy all the time, it will have no reason to change, adapt, or escape any type of danger. Like, for example, if a creature is starving in the middle of nowhere, but feels happy about it, it will just eventually die. The feeling of pain, fear, anger, guilt, those are what pushes us to act, to move us away from threats and fix what's broken in our life. Negative emotions actually help us. It tells us that we have problems and challenges to overcome. And when we eventually overcome those challenges, real happiness comes from solving those problems. For example, say you're really out of shape and decide to actually lock in and go to the gym consistently. Week after week, you push yourself in the gym, training hard, being disciplined. Fast forward 3 years from now, you look at yourself in the mirror. You think back to all the years you've been out of shape, and you think about the times you've struggled, and you think back all of the hard work and hours you've put in, and you start to feel proud and fulfilled. You didn't just change your body, you also change your mentality. You learn to be more disciplined and push through the pain, and you're glad that you've been through so much because it's what makes this moment worth it. My point is that you need to suffer, so in the end, we will be more fulfilled. Like, imagine you just woke up with a nice body. Sure, that would be actually kinda nice, but what you won't have is knowing that you put in the hard work, and deep down, you wouldn't actually be proud of yourself because you actually never had to put in the work and never had to suffer, and the confidence that you have in yourself would be fake. And here's a question many people ask that I also want you to ask yourself. What do you want from life? Immediately, people would say, oh, I want a big house, a loving wife, gazillion dollars, travel the world, a nice car, and a big dick. Saying that feels good and it gives you that dopamine rush. But let's be honest, you're saying that just to feel motivated and the next day, you're back in bed rotting. Instead, what if you ask yourself, what pain do you want in life? What are you willing to struggle for? This way, you're kind of just accepting that you will go through the pain in order to achieve happiness. And when you accept that you will go through the pain, it makes it a lot easier to keep moving forward and keep pushing yourself forward. It's like signing a contract, but instead of paying with money, you're paying with pain. And when I say what type of pain you want in life, I hope you're not wanting the pain of regret. That would be the worst type of pain you could ever feel, knowing you could have done something, but you didn't. Like, imagine, like your car is burning and your mom is trapped inside, and you're just too scared to go and jump in and save her. Imagine the pain you'd feel if your mom dies in that fire. Would you rather suffer the pain of regret of not saving your mom for the rest of your life, or suffer the pain of this fire scorching on your face? You get to choose. Anyways, that was a little deep, but back to what I was saying. You need to experience pain and suffering in order to achieve happiness, because with no pain and suffering, there is no happiness. True happiness never just comes from experiencing just positive emotions. If you think you can experience happiness without negative emotions in the first place, you will get yourself into destructive habits. This is where you start doing drugs, sniffing cocaine, and then gooning all day to the LeBron pics. My point is that if you want to experience positive emotions, there has to be some kind of negative emotions behind to begin with. Now that you've came clear what happiness is and you've accepted that you need to experience pain to get what you want, here's the next step. Well, what do you actually want? Ask yourself, what is worth sacrificing for? If you want better grades, you need to sacrifice doom scrolling on TikTok when you should be studying. If you want to focus on your career, you're going to have to sacrifice spending time with loved ones.
Your girlfriend said, let's go movies. No!
No movies!
If you want to be rich, well, you need to sacrifice cheap pleasure now and actually lock in. My point is that whatever you want in life, there's always a price to pay. I also want to touch on the subject of choosing. In life, you're always choosing your own pain. Every problem in your life, you are choosing it. But what if you say, okay, but what if I get cancer? I didn't choose to get cancer, it's not my fault. Yeah, when you get terminal cancer, it's not your fault, but it becomes your responsibility. Unless you smoke 500 cigarettes each day to begin with, then it's your fault. When a baby suddenly lands in your doorstep out of nowhere, yeah, it's not your fault, but it becomes your responsibility. Every moment in life is this way. You are always actively choosing to blame or take responsibility yourself. Yes, in life, you're going to be dealt with a bad hand, but it's your responsibility to choose what to do with that hand. But if you still have no idea what you want in life, my advice is to just do something. We often think that motivation leads to action, but the truth is the opposite way around. It's often action that leads to motivation. For example, when you want to go for a run, you just start by putting on shoes. By doing that, you start to feel a little bit more motivated to run. When you want to study, you just start by studying for 5 minutes. Then you start to notice yourself studying a little bit more. Watching motivational videos won't help. We all know that. You're just feeding views to that person who made that video and you're getting money from it. And you're out here with $0 in your bank account while being unemployed. So why not try starting to make those type of videos so people can't call you broke anymore and you can actually try doing something with your life? My point is to just start doing something that just interests you a little bit. There has to be something that interests you. If nothing really interests you, then maybe you're just an NPC. Okay, if nothing is motivating you right now, well, here's my last advice. Think about death. No, I don't mean you should just give up. Please don't. I mean, ask yourself, what if I die tomorrow? Would you be proud of the way you lived? Sometimes death is the only thing that could wake us up. Would you want to feel regret or would you want to smile? You don't need to obsess over it, but it's true. You can die at every moment. Like, I don't know, maybe some guy could shoot a bullet in the air and lands on your head from far away. You never know. I don't want to scare you, but it could happen. So ask yourself, if you die today, would you be proud of who you became? If the answer is no, then that's your signal. You got work to do. So get up and start suffering, because it will be worth it at the end. Anyways, I hope this video has helped. Subscribe if you learned something.